everyone. Welcome to another episode of Third Shot Podcast. For those of you who are watching today, you can see I've got my buddy Uncle Greg here in Vegas with me. Super excited for that. And for those who are listening, join us by going to YouTube and looking up Third Shot Podcast so you too can also watch and follow along with us. You can also go to our Instagram and Facebook page to give us a follow at Third Shot Podcast. You can find us on X at Third Shot Pod. And Russ is here joining us as well, but tuning
Virtually.
in from California. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nonetheless, though, we're happy to be here. We'll do
That's
a little toast.
Cheers. Cheers to the weather in California that's not 100
Mm-hmm.
million degrees. Oh my God.
yeah, right. What is it there?
Yesterday was 108. Today will be 106. So a little bit colder today, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be chilly. I might have to wear my parka.
Yeah, right. Jeez.
So I did have to adjust because we went out and played pickleball yesterday in the evening. Like we started at what, 5:30,
Yeah.
6 o'clock. So we thought, okay, it's going to be a little cooler. Oh, it had to have been still over 100.
Yeah, and I don't think being on a cement surface helps our situation. Like if we were
No.
playing on grass, it would feel cooler, but I think the cement adds to the heat because it's just baking all day long.
And you
Oh, yeah,
must
you
have
got the-
had a huge adjustment because earlier that day you went curling.
I did, yeah. So I went from they said that the highest temperature in the curling facility is like 45 degrees. So I spent 2 hours in there, changed clothes, went out to the courts in 108.
Yeah.
Wow. Like shock.
Yeah.
The body had to have just been going, what are you doing to me? What are you?
Right? But don't they say that's good? Like polar
Probably.
plunges and stuff, like
Probably.
little healthy, you know?
Yeah. But I had a friend that used to live in San Ramon that moved to Las Vegas very recently, join us. So that was a lot of fun. Shout out to Ron. He's my buddy up in San Ramon. We played the pickleball tournament together. We won in doubles. And we came down here and played yesterday. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You got
it
to meet
was.
Ron for the first time.
I did get to meet Ron, and he's such a great guy, great pickleball player as well. And now he's not your San Ramon buddy,
I
but
know.
now he's just another Vegas buddy.
Now he's your buddy.
More reason to come on out here and join me and Ron.
Yeah.
Right.
And then
You gotta-
after that, we said, hey, let's all go eat, right? We have
Okay,
to.
there we go.
So
There we go.
went
I was
to,
going to ask the question, but you just went right
but
into
that
it.
was-
There you go.
So we went to a newer Hawaiian restaurant in the newer Durango casino.
Yep. So they have a food hall there called Eat Your Heart Out, and they have, a variety of food. There's pizza, burgers, Hawaiian food. They have hand-pulled noodles, sushi, but we decided on the Hawaiian food.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Nice.
So they did the special where they make curry oxtail soup, and they give you a side of rice, they give you a side of noodles and mac salad and some tomato like salad also. Oh my gosh, they only do it Friday nights. That's why we had to go do it after pickleball. And they say, we'll serve it until we run out. And we go, okay, we got to get out of here. We got to go to the food hall. We got to check this place out before they run out. And it was pretty darn good.
Yeah, it was really good. And
Very
then
cool.
it doesn't stop there, Russ.
Right.
Okay. It's Vegas, so it can't stop just there, right? It's
Yeah.
It never
gotta keep
stops.
going all night
No.
long. What happened there?
Right. What comes after dinner? We had to get some dessert.
That's right.
Oh,
They have a
Okay.
cookie bar inside of it, and it's like in the front of a restaurant, I guess. So you can go behind the cookie bar and there's a restaurant, but they're like the size of like
Your face.
a saucer. Yeah, they're humongous. But we were so full we couldn't even eat them, so we just got a bunch to go.
Nice.
So we ate
today
them
we'll
in the
try.
car. We ate them in the car coming home.
We have to
I was going to say, show me the cookies, but I guess you've already. Yeah. Okay.
I think my favorite was the chocolate chip. Like you can't go wrong with just a good chocolate chip cookie.
What was the chocolate cloud thing?
Oh, I think they call it like a crinkle cookie, where the top is kind of like powdery white. They use like powdered sugar, and it just gets like crinkled looking on top. But it was more like a brownie texture. It
Mhm.
was super soft, and it was just like chocolate, in your face chocolate.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm like salivating now. But
But
I
it
have a
doesn't
feeling
end
tonight.
there, Russ.
I have a feeling, yeah. What else went on?
Then we went to the slot machines
Okay.
because we have a tradition. When I'm in town, we have to go play slots because we just bring a little extra luck to Brigie.
Yes, we
Okay.
call it the Louis luck because without the Louis here, I don't win like I do when they're here. Like maybe I'll do like I win like $20, but when they're here, like I actually hit bonuses and do pretty well. So we played a newer machine called Raise the Sales or something like that. And it basically builds up free spins based on what coins show up during like your regular play. So if you get a
Oh, okay.
gold coin, it goes to the gold coin, silver to silver, and then it starts tallying up how many free spins you get if you land on the bonus. And the gold one had 87 free spins, and I hit the 87 free spins, and we were
Wow.
going crazy, high-fiving and everything, and then at the end of it, I think I won a couple $100, few hundred
Few
dollars.
$100. She did good.
Yeah, it
Nice.
was so great, and then, hit that collect button, went to the get my cash back, and we ran out of there, so
Right.
that ended the night.
Ran out of
Paid for
there,
all the
got in the car
cookies
and
we
ate some
ate.
cookies.
Yeah.
And then some. Yeah, I could go back and get more.
It was a full evening yesterday. We
It
did it all.
was.
We've crammed everything into one night.
And the crazy thing, you just got there yesterday, right?
I got there the night before,
Oh, okay.
but
Okay.
I worked during the day, and then she was curling,
Yeah.
so we got together in the evening, and yeah, we did
Awesome.
it. We did
Yeah, you
Vegas,
did. That is such the Vegas story.
right?
Yeah.
So what did you do yesterday, Russ?
I sat at home.
Relaxing.
Yes,
I did
preparing.
not do much yesterday. I actually I did a little cornhole. That was fun.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
fun.
So it wasn't it wasn't pickleball in 100 degrees, so but it was still hot.
Yeah.
My son and I have come up with new rules for cornhole, and we've got some house rules that are kind of fun. Um, if you lose, you get sprayed with the water hose for 10 seconds.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
so
It's
do
we've
you
been
want
doing
to
it in these
lose
hot
if it's
days.
hot?
If it's hot, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was on a streak yesterday. I kept winning. I'm like, but I'm hot. might have to fix the game just to get
Well,
hit. But
literally, you were hot, and you were hot.
exactly, exactly.
That was fun.
So yeah, that's what I did yesterday. Not no cookies involved. No, Hawaiian barbecue involved, and no, I didn't win hundreds of dollars. So, but
You got to come
not
down.
in
Yeah,
Vegas.
just save it for when you come visit.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I'm sure there's a flight down here today.
That's
There's
true.
still time.
That's true. I'll start looking. We'll see what happens.
All right.
So, what you guys are together? You guys have an interview here.
We do.
Who are we talking to today?
We are talking to Karen Owoc, and she is a clinical physiologist, and she's wrote the book behind us, Athletes
Mhm.
and Aprons. And she may not be in total favor of what we did at Hawaiian barbecue last night, but she's got fantastic advice on, how to keep your body in shape, how to live longer, how to keep your body ready for pickleball. And we can't wait to have that conversation. So we're going to be bringing Karen in here in a second. And while we do, it gives everybody an opportunity to follow us on our social media accounts, Instagram and Facebook, which is Third Shot Podcast, X, Third Shot Pod, and please go to our YouTube channel, Third Shot Podcast. And while you're, looking around, go to our website, thirdshotpodcast.com. We got some merch there. We have some exciting things coming in future episodes, we will be introducing that. So keep an eye on our website. We'll be doing some announcements there. But now is the time that we get to bring in KRON. Hey, KRON, welcome to Third Shot.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're super excited to have you and to learn so much because you have so much information for us, and we are very excited to hear all of it. But before we jump into it, we're going to do a quick little toast to you and being on Third Shot.
Oh,
Cheers, KRON.
cheers, cheers.
So when Uncle was kind of preparing me for you to come on the show, he shared your background with me, and it's so impressive. For our listeners, can you share with them as well on your laundry list of certifications that you hold under your belt?
Well, in a nutshell, I'm a certified clinical exercise physiologist. My specialty is in cardiopulmonary rehab. So I work for the VA in Palo Alto, working with veterans with cardiopulmonary conditions. So basically, I am helping people kind of change their lifestyle, which applies to all of us, not just those of us with cardiovascular diseases. And just my mission is to help people live longer and so they can play longer.
Yeah. And you wrote a book as well. We have the book here. Thank you so much for giving us a copy. Athletes in Aprons. And I love the picture on the back with you and your dad, who lived a very long life. And I guess he was the inspiration that you have to help people live longer.
Exactly. And he lived a very long life and an active life. And part of it was, he ate well, he moved a lot. Not that he played any sports per se. He did a lot of gardening, but he was just always moving, always on the move. And that kept him, that helped maintain his longevity. And he lived a long, happy life. And it was really, really a gift.
That's great. And then now you've kind of translated that healthy lifestyle and adopted pickleball recently. Can you share with us how you kind of first got started in pickleball and how you've added that to your lifestyle as well?
So it took a lot of nudging to get me into pickleball. I'm being totally honest. So I have a tennis background. I played tennis a lot as a kid. And so when my husband started playing pickleball, he goes, "You ought to play." And pickleball, I mean, just the name of it didn't sound real aggressive to me. And I thought, pickleball. And until I saw it on TV, I watched the national championships and I go, wow, that looks fun.
Yeah.
That's a lot more than I was imagining what pickleball was about. And so I said, I'll try it. But initially, just to back up a little, I said, I don't want to play pickleball because that will ruin my tennis. And then I thought, geez, I haven't played tennis for how long? So it's not going to ruin anything. So I went ahead and start playing here at our club, and it's been a lot of fun, a lot of fun.
So KRON and I belong to the same club, and we've had a chance to play pickleball together. And KRON has, I think because of the tennis background, has just the most natural stroke, and her serve is deadly.
Uh-oh.
She
I can only imagine.
She's known in our club for her serve, and I noticed that her backhands are just so smooth and just so natural. You picked up the game super quick, and I'm just wondering, the tennis background plus you move so well around the court, right? Nobody's can manipulate you around the court because you move so well. Is your training and everything that you're doing really helped you with the transition into learning pickleball and becoming very proficient at it and quickly?
Well, you're very kind because I still have a long way to go, Greg.
We all do.
The tennis the tennis, just the having that background, but it's like I said, it's not like I have played recently, but a lot of the training that I do, I do a lot of balance training, strength training, power training, and I have private clients as well as I help my veterans. So I think that all combined really has helped a lot, um, and kept me from falling and having any serious injuries.
We'll talk a little bit about that training. Like, what have you done, and what do you think has really helped you prepare to play pickleball?
Well, in pickleball, like I said, at first I thought, oh, pickleball. It didn't seem like it was something that was as demanding as tennis because first you're on one quarter the size of a tennis court. So I thought, oh, how demanding can that be? But pickleball requires a lot of agility, a lot of, twisting and pivoting and cutting and all that. And that requires a lot of specific agility training. So that I did have. I have a agility ladder that I keep in my living room. I roll it out, and so I'm working on that. I used to have my clients work on agility, no matter how old they were. We worked on agility. Because in order to recover, not only prevent falls, but recover from a fall, you need to have that. Um, also, in pickleball, there's a lot of sudden stops and starts, and you need strength to to um, to stop that momentum. And a lot of people go into pickleball, I think, without having that preparation, and that's how people get hurt. So I think the strength training and the power training also helps me with that, kind of transitioning into pickleball.
That's awesome. I love that you have an agility ladder inside of your house. We need to get one.
We need
That
to
might
get
help. So, with your background in exercise physiology and now starting to play pickleball, what are the most common injuries that you've started to notice in the pickleball world?
Well, in general, fractures are very common. I haven't seen it in our group, but fractures very common. Women tend uh, to experience this more than men. The women and these fractures come from falling. So that's why it's real important to work on the balance training so that you don't fall in pickleball. So uh, the women, and they say the research says that it's mostly from osteoporosis, because a lot of the older women that play, they may have thinning bones, so very important to get a bone scan as you get older. Men, though, when they fracture, they tend to have to go to the hospital because they break the bigger bones.
I'm
There's
scared.
more mass.
I'm
There's
scared.
more mass hitting the ground. So they'll break a hip or they'll break a femur. And then the femur is a very large, that's their thigh bone. So they end up with more debilitating, a longer recovery with their falls. So a lot of things I see right now in our group is the soft tissue injuries. So maybe a sprained ankle or some kind of knee injury. You have a brace on your knee, Greg.
I do. I do. Oh, well, I use a brace on my knee and my elbow. So
I do remember that.
Croban is a company that we've had on the show before, and they've provided us braces for my knee and my elbow that have magnets in it.
Mhm.
And I find it's made a huge difference. And you know what's interesting? You mentioned that I forgot to bring my bands down
Mm,
to Vegas, and we played last night. So I
Oh,
played last night without the bands, and I did feel a difference in the stability of my knee.
did you have a previous knee injury?
I have an injury to my entire body. No, and I joke
That's
about it,
called
but I
aging.
also
That's called
I'm
aging,
speaking
Greg.
seriously because I played so many sports growing up
Mhm.
that I don't think there's any part of my body that I haven't injured. Plus, I was in a major car accident when I was in my early
Oh,
20s, which really jarred my body. And I
yeah.
think there's long-standing damage that has been done to my body. And so
Mhm.
I try to be very preventive in preparation. And that's one of the things I really wanted to ask you about
Mhm.
is like what are the types of things, like Brigie and I are in different stages of our lives, right? I'm in my late 50s, Brigie's in her 30s. Like, should people in different age groups prepare for play pickleball differently? Or should we
Actually,
just all do the same thing?
Actually, no, nothing really different, pretty much the same. The intensity may be a little bit different as especially as the older adults I see kind of jumping into it too soon and too fast. And that's as their bodies age, there's just not that resiliency that you might have when you're younger. So yeah, but the same exercises will apply. What pickleball is a very unilateral activity, so it's dominant on one side. So very important to train both sides of the body individually, so you can actually identify the weak points. Weak points equals injury. So
Mhm.
and so both of you would be doing the same type of thing.
Like, what do you suggest? What should be kind of our pre-workout stretching and exercises? And then more importantly, maybe is post games, what we
Yeah.
should be doing.
Yeah, I could go through I mean, I could spend a whole whole
Well, we
segment on
we
just
want to hear
warm
it.
up. Warm-ups are very important, and what I see or I am assuming some people just kind of jump onto the court cold turkey, and warm-ups are just doing some dinking. And that's really not an adequate warm-up. You need to take your body through the full range of motion. That's why you see so many injuries, especially I see a lot of rotator cuff injuries in people that get older. Pickleball using a lot of arm swing, a lot of shoulder movements. And if you're not warming up those joints, it can result or strengthening them on the side, that could result in a serious injury. And rotator cuff injuries, I don't know if you've had that too, Greg, but
Yes.
those take a long time to heal. And
Yeah.
and I've had the same, and it's
Really?
yeah, it's very debilitating. So, but with therapy, you could get back to 100% with that.
That's encouraging.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
we both had some shoulder stuff.
Yeah.
What types specifically of exercises would you recommend to warm up the rotator cuff, being that's something we both
We both
kind
have
of
it. Yeah.
suffer
Yeah,
from?
so I mean, just some real big arms. Start out with some big arm circles and both directions, and just think about each joint and then going into the full range and trying to mimic some of the movements that you will be doing on the court. If you're doing a lot of overhead shots, but make sure that what mobility exercises before the game, before playing, are different from the type of stretching you would do after. So before, you're doing a lot of stretching, but you're also including movement. Whereas after you exercise and play, you're doing more static stretching to really try to lengthen that muscle when the muscle is nice and warm. And it's kind of uh, it's very hot because you've played. So you want to increase that pliability and increase the length of that muscle. So you are more functional on the court.
So I use that foam roller
Hmm.
because after I play, my back tightens up.
Yeah.
And I like using the back roller after I play, and
Mhm.
then I do some leg stuff with it as well as my back. Is
Yeah.
that something you recommend, or how do you feel about that?
Yeah, rolling is very good, and rolling as well as if you have a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball, those are also good for really digging into the muscles and relaxing them because you want to hit. You probably have some really
Yeah.
tight trigger points in the back after you play. So that's good to help relax them, and I totally recommend that, as well as hitting some of the other areas of the body. I have to work the my forearm because I have kind of a sore arm, but after you use the muscles and they kind of develop adhesions in the fascia. The fascia is kind of like a cellophane wrap around each muscle, and that can get very dry, and you can develop these little adhesions. So it's good to break those adhesions up as well as really stay hydrated, because if you kind of dry up, you're going to lose your flexibility and the ability for those muscles to contract really strongly.
So the drying of the fascia, is that due to dehydration, or are there other things that can cause that?
A lot of it is hydration, also aging. So you kind of have to fight Mother Nature by, eating well and hydrating well. The hydration is huge, not only for um, you know your whole body function. Your brain, your blood, your muscles all require water, and as people get older, they lose that thirst sensation. It starts to diminish. So, and if you're using thirst as a measure of how hydrated you are, then you can get dehydrated very quickly, and that's very serious. So
How do you
look at
feel
your
about
pee. Look at the color of your pee. So it
so
should be kind
lighter
of
is
a
good,
clear.
right? The
Yeah,
lighter
lighter is
color is
good. If
better. You
looking
don't
like
want.
apple juice, you're really dehydrated.
How do
But
you
I
feel
have
about electrolytes?
electrolytes, like, so you're thinking Gatorade type of.
Yeah, or they have little powders you
Yeah,
put
like
in your
liquid
water now.
IV,
Yeah.
those are popular.
Yeah, it's really not necessary unless you're doing anything for like an hour and a half and it's very strenuous. So if you're going on a mountain run and you're out for an hour and a half, then you might need the electrolytes. Or if it's extremely hot, you're playing in very hot weather for an extended period of time. When my kids were in competitive volleyball, they all wanted I was the team mom, and they all wanted the Gatorade, and I said, "No, you don't need those electrolytes. You don't need all that sugar. So water is the best thing, because you're not out there." Because they thought it tasted good, but I said, "No, you guys need water, not sugar, and then you're not out there. It's not strenuous enough to have to replenish the electrolytes." So yeah, our teams only got water.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Sounds like yesterday we probably could have used
We
some electrolytes.
It
We
was
were
hot and we were
out for
going.
like 2 hours in the Vegas heat. So maybe in that situation, it would be a little bit more appropriate to replace it afterwards. I did want to jump back though. You had mentioned the importance of stability and when it comes to preventing falls from happening, but not just in pickleball. As you get older, that's something to take into consideration. What are some exercises that you would recommend to work on stability and to make sure that we have good core strength so that we can prevent falls from happening?
Well, good balance. In order to have good balance, you have to have a strong core. And core meaning, when you say core, a lot of people will think abs or sit-ups. And your core consists of the muscles that connect your upper body to your lower body. So everything from your abs, your hips, your back, your glutes. That's comprises your core. And being having a strong core is essential in having good balance. So that's the foundation. A lot of people think, well, I mean, balance training is my specialty. I mean, that's what I do when I train my private clients. Um, there's dynamic balance and there's static balance. So there are different things. You can stand on one leg. When I test someone, I may have them stand on one leg and just see what their basic stability is like. But you don't want to just train by just standing on one leg, because most of the times you fall, you are moving, and you may
Right.
be on one leg, but you're moving your arm or you're moving your leg. So you need to train your balance with movement of the arms and legs. Um, we could go into that for a whole other session because that gets very complicated.
Yeah, and we will definitely have to have you back because there's so much that we want to dive
Yeah.
into
Mhm.
that you really are an expert in, and balance is one of the things. I also wanted to just touch, before we let you go on this episode, on nutrition
Yeah.
because I love your book and it
Thank you.
really dives into like what we're putting into our bodies and what's good, what's bad, and why. I think you
Mhm.
do a really, really good job of explaining the why. And, there's none of us are perfect, right?
Mhm.
I'm a
Right.
foodie. I love to eat a whole bunch of different things. We just went out last night for Hawaiian barbecue and I
Uh-huh.
had oxtail and, it's probably not the best for my body, but it sure tastes good. Like, quickly, could you just kind of touch on some of the things that you talk about in your book because it's fascinating. I love it.
Oh, good. Thank you. And I try to, it's not as you know that it's not a textbook style read. I
Yeah.
try to make it a friendly read so to keep your attention.
Well, I
I
love I love the little Coach Karen,
Yeah.
right? I love the Coach Karen little, summaries because it just encapsulates, okay, that's what I need to focus on.
uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. So in the book, I kind of go into the foundational science of why we age, right? And then once we understand why we age, and then you'll kind of understand why I suggest certain things. The bottom line is we want to reduce inflammation in our bodies. And when we play hard, we also produce inflammation in our bodies, in our muscles. But generally, chronic inflammation in the system relates ends up being a chronic disease. So a lot of people think that in order to get stronger, they need to eat a lot of meat and that type of protein. But meat is also an inflammatory food. So you're really not you're kind of countering what you really want to achieve. So if you want to get stronger, meat is always also going to hinder things. When muscle does not grow in a very inflammatory environment. So that's why plants, and I really push a lot of plants in my book, are so good for not only our longevity, but also our sports performance. And they all have different colors. You go to the grocery store, I tell my patients, okay, make sure your grocery cart is very colorful. You have the reds, the orange, the greens, and because you're getting a different phytonutrient in each of those different colors. The phytonutrients, those antioxidants, are the colors. So really focus on eating a lot of plants, whole grains. I suggest things that are not processed. So if you're getting a lot of food out of a box with all these different additives, then you might want to adjust a little bit. I sometimes do pantry raids to to kind of take a look at what's in your pantry and explain why certain things are not good and maybe you can do better.
That's such good information. And I know that's only scratching the surface. So, as Uncle said, we're definitely going to have you back on so we can dive into it a little bit
Yeah.
more. We can jump into our pantries and take a
Oh
look.
my gosh, don't show
Just
my
kidding.
pantry.
I want to see your pantry, Greg.
Well, you can come by. We live close enough together. You can take a look at my pantry. That's
But
funny.
we would love to have you back on. And thank you so much for sharing all of this information today as well. I know that it's going to be useful for the both of us.
Absolutely. And our audience. I
Yeah.
mean, I know everybody's going to get a lot of benefit from it. You mentioned private, clients. Do
Mhm.
you take on private clients in the area or do you do online private clients? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have online private clients. I even have one that's in France. So I started the online um, program because I felt that my patients needed more accessibility, and I couldn't be everywhere. So if they're in the area, I'll do a functional assessment in person because I need that baseline. I need to know exactly where that person is as functionally. And then if they're not in the area, I'll do it on Zoom so I can actually test them and see them. But yeah, I take in private clients, and like I said, my specialty is functional longevity and trying to keep people so that they're not in a nursing home down the road, and they live very full lives like my dad did.
Yeah. And do you take on clients of all ages?
Yes, I take in clients of all ages, but most of them are all 50 and over because because I do have, my background is in medical fitness, so I can most have diabetes, coronary artery disease, and hypertension, so I can work with those type of people. So most of them are all over 50.
Right. And I think the big message is it's never too late, right?
Yeah.
It's never too late to work on it.
That's right. I have one of my friends who's a physician here, and he said, your book, it can apply to not just the older adult, but why not start when you're in your 20s and 30s, and
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
wait
Yeah.
until you already have diseases before you get started? I started really early because I have early onset heart disease and stroke in the family. So that works to work to my advantage. But I really encourage you to start early.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
So for our audience too, who may be interested in finding out more information or maybe even getting a hold of you,
Mhm.
where's the best place that they can find that?
So I have a website. It's KRON.com, and there you could reach me through there.
And then what's the best way to purchase your book, which I highly recommend?
Oh, okay. That's on Amazon. And that's and just look up KRON Owoc or Athletes in Aprons, and you'll.
Yes, I highly recommend getting the book. It's so information.
It really is.
It really is. And I'm I'm a big person on explaining the why.
Mhm.
And whether it's in business or training in sports, you always have to understand why. And you do a fantastic job of it in your book of why the nutrition is so important and why it's going to help, the suggestions that you provide. So
Well, thank you for saying that because in teaching, a lot of, I could easily say, tell them just don't eat this, and it's not really effective until they understand why, and then they always tell me it clicks once they understand. Oh, that's why I should choose this versus this, and it makes those decisions a lot easier.
yeah, great job. Great book.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. And before we let you go, let's toast one more time
Yeah.
to Karen and everything that she's doing for the community. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been fun.
The first of many, I'm sure. We're going to have you
Great.
back.
That'd be
Yeah.
great. I'd love to.
So thank you, Karen, for coming on. And thank you, our Third Shot audience, for joining us again and sharing in Brigie and I's journey in this pickleball craziness that we are experiencing. We are committed to having more guests just like Karen in future episodes. And as Karen was saying, please go to our website, which is Karen Owoc. That's KARENOWOC.com. And find out how you can get their book and all the information that she's providing. It's so great. I really appreciate everything that she's done, and I'm learning so much as we have gotten to know each other from talking to you as well as the book. And I enjoy playing pickleball with you, obviously.
Well,
So
I can't wait till you're back. You're
yes,
back in
yes.
town.
We're gonna keep working. We're gonna keep working. So again, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll continue to share our journey. So let's keep growing this community together, and see you next time on Third Shot Podcast.